Hi everybody, I'm going to read an excerpt now from my novel Saving Annie, and it's a scene when Jack brings Paul down to his hometown of Onondaga and Paul meets Annie for the first time, as well as Jack's father, the old man, and his mother, Sarah. Jack asked me to visit Onondaga, so we drove there in the Firebird, stopping off in a number of small towns, either to pick up another six-pack or to stop in at a bar for a beer. We listened to Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves by Cher on the AM radio in the car, and I told Jack that I couldn't wait to get back to Eastman and put the Moody Blues on my stereo. We arrived in Onondaga in the late afternoon and drove up the dirt road that led to Jack's house. When Jack and I pulled into the driveway, Jack's father was squatting as he usually did, with his back against the side of the house, smoking a cigarette and spitting off to the side every few moments. He smoked the cigarette down almost to the filter and held it between the first two fingers of his right hand or let it dangle from his mouth as he talked, or rather mumbled. He was a slim guy with short dark hair that was intermittently gray. He was balding somewhat, and he had a hawk nose and lanky hands that were well used and dirty. He was clad in green work pants and a light-colored striped shirt. A cigarette pack bulged from the breast pocket of his shirt. "Nice of you to drop by," he said sarcastically as Jack and I got out of the car. Then he addressed Jack. "I suppose you're not too busy to work on the trucks tomorrow." "No, sir," Jack said. "I'll get right on it, boss." "Well, you better," Jack's father said, slurring his words. I was shocked to see that he hardly had a tooth in his mouth, maybe one or two off to the side on top, but nothing in the middle, just a big gaping hole. The old man stood up and extended his hand to me. He was taller than I thought he would be. His hand felt like sandpaper, but with big lumps on it. Jack's father had a strong grip, so strong that it hurt. "Where's Mother?" Jack asked. "She's inside," his father replied. "She's got your dinner ready." Then the old man went into one of his frequent and violent coughing fits, wheezing, hacking, pausing, then coughing again, so that you could hear it deep down in his lungs, and then gathering up the spit and phlegm in his mouth with a sucking sound, like the sound of a child sucking through the straw at the bottom of a soda glass that still has some ice left in it. Jack looked at his father with a combination of anger, frustration, pity, and compassion. "Don't worry," the latter said. "I'm quattin'. This is only my third cigarette of the day." "How long has that lasted?" Jack inquired dubiously. "Since yesterday," his father replied. "Shit," Jack said to himself, with his face to the ground, but so that all could hear. "Don't you shat me," his father said. Jack and I walked into the house. It was a two-story structure, and it had a rear door that faced the driveway, which curved up from the dirt road and led to the barn, which served as a garage for the family's construction vehicles. Two dump trucks stood at the far end of the driveway, right next to a gasoline tank. Next to the trucks in the middle of the open area in front of the barn was a yellow backhoe. There was a basketball net attached to the side of the barn. Although the old man was the official head of the household, Jack's mother, Sarah, with her short but sturdy frame, her red-brown hair tied back around her ears with a single bow and falling to just below her shoulder blades, and a ruddy complexion that was highlighted by a pair of rosy red cheeks, was a formidable woman. They all sensed that the old man didn't have much longer to go, but they couldn't tell how long he'd hold out. Jack's family was struggling by almost any standard. For all that hard work and the cost of the equipment, and then the cold winters with nothing to do but sit around and drink beer and watch football and collect unemployment because the ground was too hard to break into, it didn't seem like that great a life. Certainly not for Jack. After all, he was a university man now. The old man sauntered in and sat down at the table. Jack grabbed a beer from the refrigerator and took one for me too. Then we sat down. There was plenty of pot roast, boiled potatoes, carrots, hot rolls with butter, and a big dish full of baked beans set before us. "Where's Annie?" said the old man, referring to Jack's younger sister, whose picture I could see in a frame on the mantelpiece. She had blonde hair, a pale complexion, and glistening eyes. A wide smile revealed a straight row of teeth. Her cheeks were set midway in her face, and they tapered down to an evenly contoured mouth. Jack had shown me her picture before. She was a junior in high school, but she looked older than that. Jack had told me that Annie was a basketball player, and as I looked around the room, I saw on a table a photograph of Annie in a uniform taking a jump shot. Just then, the back door flew open, and Annie burst into the room. She brightened everything up. She was tall, but not too tall, and all eyes went in her direction when she entered a room. She had a smile that would melt an iceberg. She was full of life. She looked directly at me. "You must be Paul," she said. During the rest of dinner, I listened to the conversation, but all I could think about was Annie and how much I liked her. After dinner, while Jack helped Sarah clean up the dishes, Annie took me outside to the barn and we shot some baskets. We played horse and she beat me. It was cold, but I didn't care. I was with Annie. She told me that she wanted to get a basketball scholarship to Eastman and that she wanted to be a coach someday. As we walked back toward the house, I felt like trying to take her hand, but I was too timid. It wasn't like I was going to do anything right then. You know the way you like a girl and you want to stay with her all the time, and you know that when you leave, you're going to miss her, but you have to get out of there or you're going to go crazy. And you know it's just in your mind anyway because nothing's going to happen, but you like to imagine that it might. That's the way I felt. We went back inside and I snuggled under the covers in my bed in the guest room and I thought about Annie until I fell asleep. In the morning, Jack and I hopped onto the backhoe and took a ride on the ridge and along the fields. It was cold and the fields were covered with snow. The backhoe chugged along, bouncing over the rough earth. It made a loud noise as Jack pressed the accelerator and the engine churned deeply. Jack and I were practically thrown off of our seats a couple of times, going over big bumps, but we held on and kept going forward. The horizon opened up before us and met the hills at the ridges, leaving the sun alone with a few clouds in the blue late morning sky. That's the end of chapter 1 of my novel, Saving Annie.